I'm going to start this video with a really simple question. How many people are on your master's course? Maybe 20, 25? And now think more broadly and ask yourself how many master's courses are there in your area around the country? Quite a few. All these students will have very similar characteristics to you, and the danger of this is you're not going to stand out, you'll be ordinary, you go into the graduate market and you struggle to get a job. So you need to ask yourself the question, what can you do to stand out as a master's student? Number one is research. Not just your dissertation, but additional projects as well. If I was at Loughborough, for example, I'll be finding out who works there, who are the main lecturers in that department. I'd find lecturers that have similar interests when it comes to your research, and then consider ways you can contribute to their research. I'd arrange a meeting. The main thing you can do is just show enthusiasm and offer your services in any way. Now, typically, your part of that process won't be very heavy. You're likely just to do a bit of data collection, but let me tell you this. My first paper was in my PhD. That's normal. Most people, when they get their first publication, it is as a PhD student. But if you can do a paper as a master's student, your CV is so much stronger already. Number two, you need a presence. By that I mean on social media. That's the way of the world now. Employers will check you out when you send a CV, and if your social media is not up to scratch, it's not good. You might be looking at this and saying, yeah, but I already use LinkedIn, I already use Instagram. But what I see all too often is infrequent posts. People start off their channel about fitness, and then after 3 or 4 posts, they just give up. The content itself is quite unoriginal. There's a million Instagram pages. It's just people doing squats and doing a few deadlifts. Well, be a bit more original. Problem with that is you just look like everyone else, and you're not standing out to employers. I'll give you this example. This is Master in the Mind. This is Ollie and John. They have just finished their masters at Loughborough in sports psychology, and they created their podcast over the past few months. And what I like about this sports psychology podcast is the content is frequent. They're always pumping out different podcasts. The content's very original, and they promote their work on multiple platforms. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, frequently. They're getting themselves out there, getting themselves known. I would take inspiration from this. Don't be afraid to get started. Get yourself a YouTube channel, a podcast, an Instagram page. If you'd like to learn more about using social media effectively, I've got a few videos. I'll put a link to my playlist in the description below. Next point is get some work experience. Now, hopefully you have some already from your undergraduate degree, but what I find is a lot of master's students go through the process and don't get work experience. The ones that do are typically very relentless people and resilient as well. For me, I was so relentless. I would, as an undergraduate student, for example, contact 100, 150 teams, and then when I was doing my masters, I would contact as many universities as possible, trying to get myself out there to find myself a PhD. I was also making lots of sacrifices throughout the years, so it's cost me a lot of money to pursue a career in sports science. I've had to move to different countries. There's all sorts of weird stories in that video where you'll see the link below in the description again. What I recommend you do is, as a bare minimum, get yourself on LinkedIn. Identify people who you can speak to. Put yourself out there. So post frequently, not too frequently, you don't want to look too keen, but if you can post 3 or 4 times a week and just get in touch with people. And when you speak to people, just like what I said earlier on about the research, just be enthusiastic, offer your services, try and do some volunteering, and persevere. Not everyone is going to connect with you on LinkedIn, not everyone is going to reply to you, not everyone is going to give you an opportunity, but don't give up too easily. Finally, your dissertation needs to be eye-catching. All too often, people take the safe option, they don't stand out, it's a really boring study. It could be something that's been done a million times. It could be what I call hand-me-down. This is where a supervisor gets a bit fed up with a student who's got a poor attitude, and they just give them a data sheet and say, here's some numbers, make a study out of that. Or another angle is friend data. By this, I mean people choose a very safe option for the dissertation because they know their friends can be their participants. These studies are okay, but they don't stand out. For me, I did my masters in Nottingham, and I was contacting lots of football teams around the East Midlands area, and I was very lucky to get in with Leicester City's academy. Now, this was 2016, and that was the year Leicester City won the league as well. So when I was going for my PhD interview, a couple months after this, what did I speak about? Well, I did some research at Leicester City. I didn't embellish, I was very honest. Okay, I wasn't with the first team, but I was within that club for a few months and got some great experience. If you do a dissertation like this, it's so much more interesting than the hand-me-downs or just choosing something because it's an easy option. So to summarize, how do you stand out from the crowd? Well, contribute to research. That's really key during your masters. Go and speak to your lecturers. Make yourself known on social media, and don't half-ass a dissertation. You need to put time into this. Really think about what you're going to do early on at the start of the masters. Don't just ignore it and then choose something really safe and easy at the end. Okay, thanks for watching this. I've got plenty more videos about postgraduate study. If you have any ideas for future videos, please get in touch with me on Instagram at Sports Science Hacks. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again soon.